Democracy is in trouble. Big trouble. In 2024, the level of freedom around the world declined for the 19th consecutive year, affecting more than 40% of the global population. And in a year chock full of elections, 1 in 3 voters lived in a country where the quality and safety of those elections has declined. It's a phenomenon that experts call democratic backsliding, or the erosion of key democratic freedoms and institutions. It's such a growing threat that even philosopher and fascism expert Jason Stanley cited it as a reason he left the US.
Democratic backsliding is when the norms of democracy start to dissolve and the institutions of democracy, the civil service, the courts, the press, and the universities become under attack from the regime.
Many of us learned about authoritarian regimes in our history textbooks, but the sad truth is that we're living this reality right now, and it's actually part of a global playbook.
There is a linked movement attacking democracy worldwide. These forces are working together and they're going on the offensive.
So how are these forces working together exactly? And what's Donald Trump's role in connecting these fascist dots? Let's start with Hungary, where Prime Minister Viktor Orban has been in charge for 15 years and has taken over higher education. Globally, Hungary's academic freedom ranks low. It first started with an attack on international universities. Orban introduced convoluted contracts to operate in Hungary and impose new restrictions on academic research. This made it virtually impossible for international universities to operate in Hungary. Places like the esteemed Central European University, founded by Hungarian-born billionaire George Soros, relocated to Austria in 2019.
Alapvetően szerintem reformtüntetésről beszélünk, de egyébként a kormányzat ellenesnek is vehetjük, hogyha úgy nézzük, mert alapvetően a kormányzat oktatásért tett munkáját kritizálja ez a tüntetés.
But it didn't stop there. Orban then handed over Hungary's universities to foundations, whose boards were made up of, well, his close allies and supporters. By 2022, 1/3 of Hungary's universities were controlled by these foundations, affecting 64% of all college students in the country.
The faculty and students at universities are the core of democracy. They're the source of scientific evidence that will fuel national improvement. And if you want authoritarian rule, you cannot abide by these freedoms.
How about cracking down on the press? Let's go to Russia, where President Vladimir Putin, who's been in power for over 2 decades, is notorious for imprisoning journalists. For starters, most independent TV channels are banned from Russian airwaves. That includes international outlets like the BBC and France 24. Online, international and independent news sites are censored or blocked. This leaves Putin effectively in control over the Russian media. Putin is also known for jailing journalists, which came to a height during Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
I have decided to conduct a special military operation.
You tell a particular narrative that excludes opposing viewpoints. You press the absurd view that Ukrainians are fascists. This kind of opposite representation is fed to the people of Russia. But the people of Russia also have a nationalist ideology. That nationalist ideology is fed by war itself.
Nationalist ideology is a key part of the fascist puzzle. Let's go to India, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his band of far-right Hindu supremacists have been in power for over a decade and have cracked down on the country's Muslim minority. In 2019, Modi's government passed an amendment to the Citizenship Act, granting Indian citizenship to persecuted minorities from nearby countries. However, it brazenly excluded Muslim refugees. Modi also created a controversial National Register of Citizens that was designed to identify the millions of undocumented refugees living in India. Assam was the first Indian state to publish its list of residents, which ended up declaring a whopping 1.9 million people as illegal migrants, most of whom, surprise, were Muslim. And what was Modi going to do with this list of so-called illegal migrants? His government built sprawling detention camps in Assam to house them as they await trial. But many critics claim they've become synonymous with endless captivity. And it doesn't stop there. Modi has also consolidated his power over Jammu and Kashmir, in what was considered, in India, the country's only Muslim-majority state. The very same year the Citizenship Act was amended, Modi's government split the state into 2 territories and stripped it of its special autonomy. Since then, Modi's government has arrested thousands of mostly Muslim Kashmiris for protesting, and he's subjected the region to communications blackouts, including shutting down the internet.
What Modi is doing in India is classic fascist politics. He's representing India as a pure Hindu nation that in the past was a pure Hindu nation, so Muslims will always be foreign to the nation.
Liking this video? Then don't just watch, hit like, share and subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a video or live show. But if you want early access to exclusive content, then you have to head to zeteo.com and subscribe now. You'll be supporting fearless, independent journalism.
Next up, undermining the judiciary. Let's head to Israel before October 7, 2023. Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government announced sweeping proposals to essentially end its judicial independence. These reforms including giving the government more power to appoint judges. On top of that, the government voted to get rid of its reasonableness doctrine, or the court's power to assess just how fair Israel's laws are. In other words, courts will no longer be able to hear claims of government actions being unreasonable. It's a reform so undemocratic that thousands of Israelis took to the streets for nearly 10 months in a row to protest against it.
The judiciary is a central pillar of any democratic state. It's the rule of law, and dismantling the rule of law is the first goal of all would-be autocrats. Netanyahu's ultimate goal is never to leave power, like any of these autocrats.
And of course, Trump has endorsed Netanyahu as a great leader. Pretending to be pro-poor populist while screwing over the poor? Check out Argentina, where President Javier Milei has launched an all-out attack on the poor in the name of restoring the nation to economic greatness. As Milei took office in December 2023, annual inflation in Argentina was nearing 150%. He promised an overhaul of the nation's finances with what he called a chainsaw approach. Milei cut government jobs by 20% and shut down Argentina's tax agency. Outside of the government, he went hard after rent controls and also attacked retirement pensions.
It's a symbiotic relationship. The oligarchs support and donate to the autocratic leader, who then dismantles the regulatory checks or the taxation on the oligarchs. And that creates a very powerful, unified front between the kind of right-wing populist leader and an ever more entrenched oligarchy.
Sure, he's reduced inflation, but Milei's policies have come down hard on the poor. During the first 6 months of his presidency, the poverty rate jumped 11%. It left nearly 53% of the population impoverished at the time. And in March 2025, 58% of families couldn't afford the basic food basket, and just over 48% skipped a meal because of it. Trump loves Milei, but he's not the only one. Elon Musk praised and even adopted Milei's chainsaw approach under the Department of Government Efficiency, more commonly known as DOGE.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
And lest we forget that Milei gifted Musk his very own chainsaw. Literally. So this is how authoritarianism is playing out in today's day and age. And perhaps what's most frightening is that we can see all of these facets playing out in Donald Trump's America.
There is no question that Donald Trump is an authoritarian leader. He is violating the rule of law. The civil service, the Justice Department is doing his work. This is what the Nazis called Gleichschaltung, where you transform the civil service into a loyalist operation for you. And we're seeing this happen very rapidly under Donald Trump's rule.
Taking a page out of Orban's playbook, Trump has dismantled the Department of Education and cracked down hard on universities, cutting funding for programs in schools with diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. And like Putin, Trump has attacked the media, banning the Associated Press from White House events after the outlet refused to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. He's referred to the media as the enemy of the people, threatened networks like NBC and CNN over their coverage of him, and has even sued CBS and ABC over segments he simply didn't like. Then there's the attacks on migrants. Just like Modi, Trump has ordered his administration to round up migrants, many of whom have committed no crimes in the US whatsoever, and send them to detention facilities. He invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to speed up deportations of Venezuelan migrants without due process, leading to innocent people being deported to a foreign gulag. And he's gone after pro-Palestine student protesters, sending the Department of Homeland Security to arrest and detain green card holder Mahmoud Khalil and other international students. But it doesn't stop there, because Trump also has plans to overhaul the US government from all different angles. Just like Netanyahu, Trump wants to strip power away from the judicial branch of government. With most of his executive orders getting blocked by lower courts, he got a pro-Trump Supreme Court to limit district judges' power to block his unconstitutional policies nationwide. And of course, we all know how Trump has taken a page out of Malay's book, having appointed Elon Musk to run Doge to gut essential parts of the government. That move came down hard on the poor and elderly, as these cuts hit key programs like Medicaid and Social Security.
They're poisoning the blood of our country.
The fake news is, in fact, the enemy of the people.
The bigger problem is the enemy from within.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin.
Each of these facets are part of a wider authoritarian playbook that Trump is using to strengthen his grip over the country and expand his power.
The rule of law is being taken down. And when the rule of law is being taken down, you can no longer trust the economic system. You can no longer trust the structure that keeps the country stable.
America is at its breaking point, and Donald Trump has made it clear that he will do whatever it takes to remain in power.
Trump will never step down of his own free will. And I think that the machine behind him will enable a kind of restriction on democratic institutions, including elections, that will keep it in power indefinitely.
This is a warning. If Donald Trump continues to go unchecked, this could be the end of America as we know it. But not all hope is lost.
They know that it is deeply unpopular.
We can demand what we deserve.
We need charismatic politicians who speak to the youth, who speak to people in a way that will get them motivated to defend democracy and not just defend a sort of problematic status quo, but to give citizens hope for the future in a reimagined world.
Yes, a reimagined world. Because the Trump authoritarian playbook is a global playbook and a global threat.
Did you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications. For exclusive content and to support our independent, unfiltered journalism, head over to zeteo.com. Your support matters.